Now this is interesting. FEMA contractor predicts social unrest caused by 395% food price spikes. Now that is interesting. The U.S. national security industry is planning for the impact of an unprecedented global food crisis lasting as long as a decade, according to reports by a government contractor. The studies published by CNA Corporation in December 2015, unreported until now, describe a detailed simulation of a protracted global food crisis from the years 2020 to 2030. The simulation, titled Food Chain Reaction, was a desktop gaming exercise involving the participation of 65 officials from the U.S., Europe, Africa, India, Brazil, and key multilateral and intergovernmental institutions. The scenario for the food chain reaction simulation was created by experts brought in from the State Department, the World Bank, and agribusiness giant Cargill, along with independent specialists. CNA Corp's Institute for Public Research, which ran the simulation, primarily provides scientific research services for the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. Held from November 9th and 10th in 2015, this game attempted to simulate a plausible global food crisis triggered by food price and supply swings amidst burgeoning population growth, rapid urbanization, severe weather events, and social unrest, end quote. Now, as I read that last line, I'm thinking this sounds like the Webbot report I've been reading for so long. Food price and supply swings amidst burgeoning population growth, rapid urbanization, severe weather events, and social unrest. And, of course, food shortages. Food shortages, food price gouging, like you probably can't believe, which it's not even going to be gouging, it's just going to be incredible prices. So again, you have to sit back and say, well, when did they do this study? Just last year, November of last year. So approximately 5 months ago. Actually, no, that would be 7 months ago. And as I always say, the club, the government, the bankers, they always do what they need to do well in advance. The Patriot Act wasn't written after 9/11 happened. The Patriot Act was written way before 9/11 happened and was sitting in a folder essentially waiting to be enacted. And as they said, we were waiting for the right event. And then the event came. That's why the legislation was there so quick. Oh, says the person interviewing them. Is it safe to say that there's also one of these types of hidden legislations waiting to be enacted for like the internet cybersecurity? And the guy's response was pretty much, you can bet on it. So again, they have these things already ready, already planned, already ready. Perfect example, November 2014, 2 years ago, CME Group implemented these circuit breakers for silver and gold. If they go up too fast in a given amount of time, circuit breakers are triggered, and they won't be allowed to go up so fast. I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again. They've never had a rule like this ever. They've been doing this for decades, manipulating the price, slamming the price, letting it rise, slamming people out of it, out of their contracts, margin calls left and right. Why weren't those things implemented a long time ago to save us from being stopped out of our contract? So they do these things on purpose. They do them in advance because, not for fun, not to be, prepper mindset, but to be, we know these things are coming, mostly because we're going to be allowing them and pushing them to come so we can have, as the old Illuminati saying goes, the dollar, back of your dollar bill with the pyramid and everything else. Order out of chaos is their motto. Order out of chaos. They must bring in the chaos to make order out of it. And it will equal new world order. By 2024, the scenario saw global food prices spike by as much as 395% due to prolonged crop failures in key food basket regions driven largely by climate change, oil price spikes, and confused responses from the international community. Confused responses, huh? That's kind of like slicing the hell out of your arm or finger, it's bleeding, and do you really have a confused response? Oh, it's bleeding, it's pouring out blood. I'm confused by that. No, I'm going to go wrap it up and tend to my wound. What is it? What kind of confused response would the international community give? I'm just curious. It doesn't say though. Disruptions affected developed and developing countries alike, creating political and economic instability and contributing to social unrest in certain areas, the project's technical report states. The report notes that at the end of the simulation, the teams highlighted the important role of extreme weather events and food insecurity in exacerbating instances of significant internal and external migration and social unrest. These, in turn, greatly contribute to conflict. I could stop you guys from going any further with this research. You don't have to wonder and do simulations. Just go look at Venezuela. They're living it right now. Just kind of take notes as to what's happening there. It's pretty much a civil war. There's no real rule of law at the moment. Pretty chaotic. No need for a simulation. Just go take a peek. And then it says national security. Although the scenario was not produced as a forecast, they're not forecasting this, just doing it just in case. It was designed to provide a plausible framework to test the resilience of the national security system from the perspective of the U.S. government, private industry, and civil society. CNA Corporation is a government contractor established in 1942 to provide scientific research for the U.S. Navy, Marine Corps. Its CEO, Dr. Catherine A. W. McGrady, is a scientific analyst to the U.S. military's Chief of Naval Operations and the Vice Chief of Naval Operations. 4 different organizations commissioned CNA Corp to conduct the exercise. The World Wildlife Fund, the Center for American Progress, Giant Food Corporation Cargill, which controls a quarter of U.S. grain exports, and Mars Inc., the global sweet manufacturer. These are the ones that wanted this exercise done, huh? Interesting. The outcome was a panel hosted on Tuesday by the Center for American Progress on the national security implications of climate change and food security, featuring Nancy Stetson, the U.S. State Department's Special Representative for Global Food Security. From crop failure to system failure. The game begins in 2020 with a reasonably healthy global economy and oil prices that have now rebounded to $75 a barrel. Food prices climb steadily due to weather-related disruptions to agricultural production affecting South and Southeast Asia, Australia, and North America. Global crop production falls 1% short of expectations, leading to decreased in stocks and further modest price increases. Stocks as in food stocks, not shares of a company. Things get really rough after 2023 due to serious droughts and heat waves in China, India, Russia, and Ukraine, coinciding with oil prices that rapidly increased to above $100 a barrel. By 2024, heat and drought hit the European Union, Russia. Oh, let me back up. I need to add something, if you don't mind, a little J-snip before edit. By 2024, heat and drought hit the former, or what's left of the European Union, Russia, and Ukraine, while subsiding elsewhere, triggering a food price spike reaching 395% of a long-term average in a global economic slowdown. Well, hold on. I thought we're getting ready for the global economic Oh, wait a minute. This is 2024? 7-year cycles? 2017 is going to be rough. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 27. Yeah, makes sense. 2024, that sounds about right. By 2027, these conditions begin to calm only because an economic slump has diminished demand, while high prices stimulate food production. A respite from weather-related disruptions allows food stocks to be rebuilt and prices then come down gradually. The game closes with an optimistic scenario of food prices dropping from 395 to 141% of long-term averages in a recovering global economy. Part of that optimistic scenario involves fortuitously massive Band-Aid style worldwide donations to the UN's World Food Program, which thankfully leave the world well prepared to handle the catastrophe in areas humanitarian groups can reach. Stranger things have certainly happened. This is not, though, the kind of thing one expects a crack team of hand-picked food crisis planners to be hinging their hopes on. On the other hand, some simulations that have explored business-as-usual scenarios for a global food crisis, such as a complex model, created by Anglia Ruskin University's Global Sustainability Institute with funding from the British Foreign Office, forecast that current trends could result in a wholesale collapse of industrial civilization. The role of Cargill and Mars Inc. in sponsoring the exercise could explain why the project failed to address the deep-seated problems of the prevailing industrial food system. Let's just hope that CNA Corp's main backer, the U.S. government, doesn't simply wait for a climate-driven food crisis to kick in. That would leave FEMA little choice but to invoke draconian emergency measures to maintain national order amidst hunger and anger. Again, I think the webbot already said to expect these things. So that's exactly what the club has planned. Why would they be doing something like this? Because they always do things in advance to prepare for the real thing. Take care.